Yes. Okay. So like yesterday, we started with the email templates. And then we discussed that inside the Salesforce, there are two different kinds of email templates, the standard and the custom. Every time the story is same, whenever you learn something new, there are two kinds of the things what you learn is standard and the custom. When we started with the application, if you remember, there were actually two different kinds of application, the standard and the custom application. Then we started with the objects. Same was the story there also. We have seen that the Salesforce providers, a rich set of the standard object, but as a part of our business requirement, we created our own custom objects. Now, inside the email templates also, there are a few templates that is being provided to us from the Salesforce. We call them to be the standard email template. And by yesterday, someone mic is on. Who's this? Yeah. Mera, I'm muting you. Anyways. So as a part of, Salesforce also provide us a few kinds of the standard templates. Then we learn how to create the custom templates. And one important thing what we learned is yesterday is that, every email template, whatever, whether it's in standard, whether it's in custom, that doesn't issues. But every email template must be reside in a folder. And there are two different kinds of standard folders also. The unfiled public classic email template, and the second one was actually the my personal email template folders. We have learned what is the difference between storing a template inside the unfiled public classic email template and the my personal email template. So we have seen that inside the organization there are few more users apart from us. There are actually 3 users are there already being there. So if you store something inside the unfiled public classic email, that's I mean all of the email templates that are inside this particular folder, they are having the public access. And so everyone inside the organization can have an access on over this particular email template. Now, whatever you store inside the my personal email template, that is something which is your private kind of folder. And so all over the email templates that are stored inside this particular folder is only accessible to the current user, and any other user cannot access this. Now, we also learn how to create our own custom folders. And so as a part of this practice, we created this align email template folder. This one is a custom email template folder. And probably whatever the email templates, what we are going to design, so all of the email templates we are going to store inside this email template folder only. Now, see, whenever you create any folder, by default, every folder is having a public access, and it's really up to you that you can decide what level of access to be given. There are two different kinds of access: read only and read write. Okay, read only and read write. So these are the things what we are going to discuss in the sharing settings also. Then we learn, there are 4 different kinds of email templates inside the Salesforce. There are 4 different kinds of email template, like the plain text, then HTML actually without without using a letterhead, and the third one is custom. Custom is actually HTML is with using a letterhead. The custom is actually without using a letterhead. And the fourth type of the email template is Visualforce email template. Now, inside this particular topic, we are going to have a practice on these 3 templates. I mean, yesterday we started with the plain text. Today also I'm going to insert one new concept over here only. So today also we are going to learn the same plain text. After this we are going to start with the HTML by using a letterhead, and third you are going to learn with the custom without using a letterhead. Okay. So yesterday we have seen how to create one email template, and then with this subject and this particular content of the email, we actually drafted one email. But then we, the things what we have drafted, what was actually the hard, it was a hard coding. But inside, inside the Salesforce, we never do this. This was just for a practice. This was just for you to understand how actually the emails has been, how to shoot an email, from the Salesforce instance to any particular email ID, and how to design a template. So this was just a practice problem, because things whatever we transferred over here, like the customer name and the detail like the case number, whatever the things, we actually have hard coded this. So we never do this as a real practice. As a real time practice, we always get this values from the object itself. So this is a kind of soft coding. We always done the kind of soft coding for this. So this was just a practice problem, This was just a practice problem. So what I done is that I made all the things hard coded just to understand you that how we can, how we can send the email from the Salesforce and how we can do this kind of automations and all that. Now let's move on. I mean, let's move ahead and let's, start with a new concept called as merge fields. So what exactly is the merge field? So merge field is actually, is a way inside the Salesforce. Merge field is a way, and using the concept of merge fields, now we can include, we can include the dynamic entities inside the email. So yesterday, I was showing you something. I mean, I was on to this email ID. I think, I was on to this email ID. I was telling you one thing. Let me just open this. Let me try to show you one example. Yeah, see. So if you observe this particular email, dear Qasim Ali Sayyed. So they have written my name over here. Now we cannot assume like this, okay, the people, then somebody is actually sitting inside that org and he's actually typing my name. If this is for my email, the person is actually typing my name. And if the same email has to be sent to you, the person is going to, that person is going to type your name. So we are obviously, there's no need to assume like this. See, whatever the things you can see over here, the name and anything, whatever the details of mine is present over here, that entire thing has been captured from an object. It could be account object, it could be contact object. This entire data has been captured from the object, and then this particular email has been drafted, and then it has sent it to so many users over there. So whenever we want, that our email should capture, our email should capture some dynamic entities. I mean, the things from the object itself. हमने यहाँ क्या किया था? What we have done over here is that we have hard coded these values like dear Rose Gonzalez, and this is the case number. We have hard coded this, but actually this is not the way. This is not the way to draft one email template. We actually get all these values from the object. We capture this contact name, could be the account name, could be the opportunity name, it could be opportunity value, it could be the case number, whatever the details, whatever the detail you see inside any object. See, if I go to the account object, if I go to the account object, these many are the details what we usually capture from this particular form. Like what is the account number, what is the type, and what's the industry, what's the kind of annual revenues being generated from that client, and then what's the rating, phone, fax, everything, whatever is present on this particular form, we capture all this detail. And the same details we can send it dynamically, the same details we can send dynamically into the mail. And we literally don't need to type the entire thing. We just need to capture the values of these fields. If I go to, let me try to describe you with this example. So if I open this account of the United Oil and Gas Corporation, now I can see that, who's the account name is United Oil, Gas and Corp. What the type of customer? Customer direct. The industry, energy. This annual revenues, how much this? And this is the billing address of that particular client. The rating is from the phone and the fax value. Now we can send, we can send an email to this particular client that we created one account record on behalf of you. We created one account record, and see, these are the details. These are the details inside the object. Inside our database, we have captured all these details of you. So we literally don't need to type everything. We just need to capture the value. We just need to get the value of type. We just need to capture the value of industry. We just need to capture the value of annual revenue. We just need to capture the value of customer priority. Everything, whatever the fields over here, we just need to capture this value. We just need to capture it from the database and send it to the email. And we literally don't need to type anything over here. Yesterday we have done, a very unprofessional way. This is never the way to send any email. Actually, we always use a feature called as merge fields. So merge field is a concept. It's a way, it's a way where you can use the dynamic contents of any object inside the email. Merge field allows you, merge fields allow you that inside your email, whatever the email template you are drafting, you can take the objects and their fields over here dynamically. So it will, I think this is much I can explain about that. and I should rather go to the practical, and I'll that will be more beneficial to you. I mean, let me go with the practical concept. तो अगर यहाँ से कुछ नहीं समझ रहा है, तो I can show you, in the practical way. First of all, let me discuss what is the format of this. What is the format of merge field? So here, one more thing I would like to tell you is that what does API name? See, first of all, what is the format? And one more thing, you learn this format. तब अभी मैं आपको सिखा रहा हूँ. Just learn this format. But actually, you never going to write this. I mean, filhal, you don't need to write it down. When we move on to the programming, that time also we are going to learn something called as email programming. So inside the email programming, this is the possibility that there you need to write down it. There you actually need to type the format of merge fields. But right now it is not needed. I'm going to show you one tool inside our org itself. Inside the organization, we have this tool. And inside the organization, we have this tool. With the help of that tool, actually, we are going to create this format also. So just learn the format. That is essential. Why? Because probably in the email programming, you are going to type this, and that is why this is important to learn. Otherwise, abhi to nahi karna hai. At least for now, you don't need to type this format. This is one tool we have inside the organization. We have one tool, and using that tool, we can generate this format automatically. And we just need to copy and paste it. That's simple. It's a very simple job. Okay. So, how does we write down the merge field? Try to understand this. Just the opening bracket and the closing bracket. What type of bracket? People used to call this as a flower bracket. Some say is to be the curly brackets and all that. I don't know what's the exact name for this, but this is the kind of bracket. So you just need to open a curly bracket. Is my cursor? Yeah. Open a curly bracket and close a curly bracket. Now go inside the curly bracket and type this symbol. Now this symbol, I think in the English we call this to be the exclamation mark. But here inside the programming, we call it to be the not symbol. This is actually not. If I write down like this, so I used to make a pronunciation like not equals to. The pronunciation will goes like not equals to. So inside the programming, I don't know what exactly this symbol is. I think it's an exclamation mark type of symbol. But then inside the programming, we call the symbol to be the not. Okay. So how does the format looks like? Let's once again revise this. Just make an opening bracket, make an closing bracket for this. It's a flower bracket, it's a curly bracket, whatever you tell it. Then insert one symbol called as that symbol is your not symbol, or rather the exclamation, whatever you type. And then the first entity, the very first. Actually, there are only two entities over here. There are only two entities. This is the first. This is the second. There are only two entities, and in between these two entities, we need to put one dot. We need to put one period over here. We need to put one dot. Okay. Now, what are these two entities? What are these two entities inside this format is that the very first name is the object name. The very first is what? It's an object name. And the second entity is the field of that particular object. So it's like field name or API name. It's like field name or API. Now, what does field name? What does API name? Let me tell you that. Okay. So there, I'm going to tell you this. Don't worry. But let's examine these few formats. What we have as an example, I have written all these formats. So, for example, if I want to create a merge field, if I want to create the merge field to capture the accounts object name, how should I write it down? How should I write it down? Let me, just delete this and let me explain it. How I'm going to write it down. I will make an opening bracket and a closing bracket. I'll start with the exclamation mark. I'll start with the not symbol. The very first thing is what? It's an object name. So I want to get the value. I want just understand this, listen carefully and try to understand this. I want to get the value from which object? It's account object. Okay. So first of all, let me write down the name of the account. It's simply account. Okay. It's simply account. Now see, account. This is the first entity. What is the second entity? Is the field name. Dot. Dot. Dot what? The field name. It's my cursor. Dot field name. I want to get the value of the name. So I'll write down the account dot name. And this is the good format of this merge fields. Okay. So this is as simple as like this. The first thing is what? First thing is the name of the object. If it is any standard object, for example, account is a standard object, case is also a standard object. So in case of, in case of any standard object, you just need to write down the name of the object, like account. For account, it's account only. For case, it's actually the case only. If it is opportunity, it's only the opportunity. If it is, contact, so it's only the contact. If it is lead, then it's only the lead. If it is the price book, then it is only the price book. If it is the code, then only it is the code. So in case of the standard objects, every standard object, how you're going to write and how you're going to write down the name of the any standard object. It is just the object name. That's it. But let me tell you one thing. I know we apart from this standard object, let me show you something. Apart from the standard object, we even have created few of the custom objects. Like I have created this hiring manager. I created the position object. Even I created the candidate also. And these also, these are the few custom objects. That is what we have created. Now, if you observe their name, let's go to this view object. To the hiring manager, let's go to the view object. If you observe the name, actual name, I mean the database name, or rather the API name, application program interface. The full form of API is what? Application program interface. So if you observe the actual API name of this particular object is hiring underscore manager underscore underscore C. Now, can any one of you tell me what is the meaning of this underscore underscore C? Yes.
It shows customization. It's a customized object, custom object. Sorry.
Yes, you are true. For every custom entity, whether it's an object, whether it's a field, whether it's anything, to identify the custom objects, to identify the every custom fields, for every custom field also, see, inside the object we have few standard fields. These all are the standard fields. These all are the standard fields. Let me go back to this. Okay. And these all are the custom fields, whatever the fields we created. So to identify every custom entity, if it is a field, if it is an object, everywhere inside the Salesforce, there is there is a representational way. Salesforce have its own way of to represent the custom entities by appending this underscore underscore C. Inside the name, whatever the custom entity is there, it could be an object, it could be a field. Whenever it's a custom thing, if it's a custom field, Salesforce is going to append this underscore underscore C, underscore underscore C, underscore underscore C. Okay. If it is an object, the object inside the object also, the name is going to be appended with this underscore underscore C, like this. So I need to follow this convention even in if I am creating the merge fields also. So for the account, it's only account. For the cases, it's only cases. For the opportunity, it's only opportunity. But for the hiring manager, it's not just the hiring manager. If the name is HR manager, for example, then it will be HR manager underscore underscore C. If it is position object, the name will be position underscore underscore C dot name, like this, like this. Now, let's have this, let's take one more topic and let's understand what does this field name and the API names actually means to you. Okay? Because this is the right time to discuss all this. अभी हम इसके बाद में फिर शायद हमको प्रोग्रामिंग तक मौका ना मिले इस चीज को डिस्कस करने का. So I think this is the most right time to discuss what exactly is the field name and what is API name, what is the field label means, what is a field label, what is a field name, and what does API names, so this is the right time to discuss all this. एक second. ठीक है. One more candidate is certified. Okay, who's this? Prajakta. Prajakta has been certified with platform. Great. Anyway, so yeah, we are discussing this. What does a field label and a field name means? What does a field label and a API name means? So let's go to the account object and let me see the fields of the account object. Let's go to the account object and let's see. So here is this on this particular page, you can see someone mic is on. Karan, can you please mute yourself? Who is Karan? Yeah, thank you. So on this particular page, I can see all of the fields of the account object. I mean, all of the fields. Now, all of these fields, these are what? These are the account standard fields. I mean, these are the standard fields like name, account number, owner, account site. These are the standard fields. Okay. If I just scroll it down, I can now see the custom fields of the account object. So even if the object is your standard, don't assume that every standard have all the fields that are standard. Never assume like that. That is why I'm taking this example. I could even take it with the position also. But how will you identify this? Okay, account is in a standard object. Custom is contact is also in a standard object. If I go to the contact, and if I try to see the fields of the contact, although this is in a standard object, but that really doesn't mean that every field of the standard object will be standard. कभी भी ऐसा assume मत करना. If you have this assumption, just drop it right now. Every standard object may have some custom fields also. Now, most of the fields are standard, but it could have few fields like the languages and the label. See, languages underscore C and the label underscore C. So if though your object is standard, account is a standard object. It could even have some custom fields also. So never be make this a misunderstanding that the standard object only have these standard fields. Don't make this assumption, don't make this assumption. And that is why I'm taking this as an example. That is why this is the reason why I'm taking account as an object to explain you this concept. I could even take the position also, I could even take the candidates also. But I'm taking this account because I want you to understand this, that it's, even if the object is standard, it could even have some custom fields also. Okay. So objects could be standard, it could even have the custom fields. ठीक है, तो कभी भी ऐसा मत सोचना कि standard object only have the standard fields. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं यार. Every object have all the two kinds of fields, है ना, standard as well as custom. Now see, let's come to the discussion. So this is an interface where I can see, that these are the fields of the account object. These are the fields of account object. All these are the standard fields. Why? Because it has been mentioned account standard fields. So these fields, these fields are what? These fields are the standard fields. If I scroll it down, I can now see the custom fields of the account object, like active underscore C, customer priority is customer priority underscore. So number of locations SLA. All these fields are the custom fields inside the account object. Now, if you observe something over here, let me go to the account object and let's try to create a new account record. So see, the names of the field, whatever you see over here, like account space name, parent space account space number, type industry, rating, ownership. Whatever you see on this particular page, customer priority, active, SLA, whatever you see on this particular page, whatever you see as a name of this particular field on this particular page, whatever the name of the field, what is the name of the field you see over here on this particular form, on this particular user interface, the name of the field, like if I ask you what is the name of this field, you will tell me, sir, is billing city. If I ask you what is the name of this field, you will tell me, sir, it's SLA. If I ask you what is the name of this field, you are going to answer me that it's an active. So now see, whatever the field name you see on the user interface, it is called as field label. Field label. Whatever the field name we see on the user interface is called as field label. But we have learned one more concept. Let me take you back to that. We learn one concept. Let me show you that diagram. Where is that? Where is that? That diagram. Let me try to show you that diagram. Yeah, this one. See, when we discuss this, I don't remember whether I have told you this thing or not. But write it down. Please write it down. We are going to discuss this in the programming. But please write down. I mean, with reference to this diagram, I would like to quote you one sentence. यहाँ पर एक sentence मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ, and I want all of you to write it down. What is that sentence? Salesforce purely follows ORM. Salesforce purely follow ORM. What is ORM? What is ORM? The full form of ORM is Object Relationship and Mapping. Object Relationship and Mapping. Object Relationship and Mapping. मतलब 2 से 3 चीजें जो मुझे आपको बतानी है. Salesforce purely follow ORM, Object Relationship and Mapping. ठीक है, अब ये इसको साइड में कर दो, बस लिख लो, साइड में कर दो. Salesforce follows MVC architecture. Salesforce follows MVC architecture. Second sentence, this one is the second statement. मतलब कुछ चीजें जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ आज, कुछ चीजें जो आज मैं आपको इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहा हूँ, and I want everyone of you to write it down. एक तो आपने लिखा कि Salesforce follow the ORM architecture could be. What is the full form of ORM? Object Relationship and Mapping. अब इस पर डिस्कशन कब होगा? When we actually start with the programming. जब हम डेवलपमेंट के स्टार्ट करेंगे लेक्चर, that time I'm going to tell you कि how does actually Salesforce follow the ORM, how Salesforce follow the ORM architecture. So that time we are going to discuss with that. Now second, one more thing I would like to tell you. I mean, मतलब ये मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ कि अगर ये आपको मेरे मुंह से आज सुनने मिल जाती है तो अच्छी बात है ना. कल चल के इंटरव्यूअर अगर बोलेगा तो फिर आप कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. व्हाट डज ORM मींस, व्हाट डज मल्टी टेनेंसी मींस, व्हाट डज MVC आर्किटेक्चर मींस. ठीक है, so that is why I'm telling you all this. So second is what I want you to write down the second statement, the second sentence as Salesforce follows MVC architecture. MVC architecture. The full form of MVC is model. M stands for model, V stands for view, and C stands for class. Okay, controller. Sorry, not class. It's controller. Model, view, controller. So M stands for model, V stands for view, and C stands for controller. So Salesforce follow this MVC architecture. Now let me discuss what is MVC. I already have discussed the multi-tenancy. मतलब if they ask you this, what does a multi-tenant means? So probably in our initial days, it was I think it was third or could be the fourth lecture where I discuss what does a multi-tenancy means and how actually the Salesforce follow the multi-tenant. तो अगर बात निकली है तो थोड़ा सा ये बता देता हूँ कि if you remember this, if you remember this, कि I told you one thing that where's that diagram? Where's that diagram? Oh no. Yeah, server instances. So probably with this diagram, I explained one concept that, Salesforce have their servers in 3 different regions. Salesforce have their server in the 3 different regions. Now, can any one of you please tell me what are the name of 3 different regions of the Salesforce server? Yes, one by one. Can anyone please tell me? Yes.
Sir, it's a NA.
Great. Second.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Europe region
Sir,
and Pacific.
Asia Pacific.
Asia Pacific, North America and Europe.
That's great.
Europe, Middle East, Asia. Europe and
EMEA.
Middle East.
Yeah. So, okay, let me answer, guys. So, see, Salesforce have their server in 3 different regions of the world. Okay. First is AP, Asia Pacific. Okay. The second is NA, North America. And the third is EMEA, EMEA, EMEA. What is the full form of EMEA? Is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Okay. So now we can simply assume that around the globe, Salesforce have put up their server almost in every country. Okay. So now see inside one server, this was just an example of AP24. This is one server from the AP region. Now, how I'm going to explain you about the multi-tenancy is that the tenant means organizations. Tenant means organizations, and multi-tenants means multiple organizations, obviously. So inside a single server, Salesforce will going to accommodate various, or rather the multiple organizations. I mean the data of the multiple organizations, they are going to be reside in a single server. A single server is going to be shared. A single server is going to be shared among the different organizations. First of all, this concept is called as multi-tenancy. Now, how many organizations can be reside? How many organizations can be accommodated into a single server? The answer is up to 8,000. Up to 8,000 different organizations can be accommodated in a single server. And this concept is called as multi-tenancy. This concept is called as multi-tenancy. So this was one thing you should know. The second is, right now I'm going to discuss about the MVC architecture. What is M model? What is view? V stands for view and C stands for controller. So long back, I also discussed this. ये भी हमारा discussion हुआ था. If you remember, if we create any object, if we create any object, we just need to deal with the front end. If we create any object, we just need to deal with the front end. As soon as I create any object, the front end, if I develop any object, I created an object in the front end. For that object, for that particular object, for example, if I created the hiring manager object, for this hiring manager object, one database table has already been created. One database table has already been created inside what? Inside the database.com. Inside the database.com, one corresponding database table has already been and automatically created. We haven't written any SQL queries for that. But if it's still, we didn't write any SQL, this table has already been created. How? Automatically. How? Automatically. And moreover, one business logic class has already been written. Why? Just to have a connection between this table and the front end part. So this is something what we discussed long back. When I started this training, it was again, the initial days when we were discussing all this, how simple is to develop one application inside the Salesforce. How simple is to develop one application, because we just need to deal with the front end. We just need to deal with the front end and entire the backend complexity. It could rather related to the database creations. It could rather related to, the how to create the tables. And then for every object, there is a table. For every field, there is a column. For every object, there is a table. For every field, there is a column inside the table. And these things are automatically created. We never bother about creating the table, database table. And don't we even bother about writing the, business logic classes and all that. If I think I have taken this with comparison to probably Java or something, or probably with the .NET, where you should create this, for this we have front-end engineers, for this we have back-end engineers, for this we have Java programmers and all that. The people, they used to write the program, they used to write the business logic class just to have interaction between the front end and the back end part. But inside the Salesforce, we don't require all this. We just need to develop the front end, and entire back end complexity has been taken care by the Salesforce itself. So this was the thing what we were discussing that time. If you remember those lecture, if you remember that lecture, so I discuss all this with this example. Now today I'm going to explain you with respect to this diagram. I'm going to explain you what does the MVC architecture actually means. Three things you need to remember when you are learning the Salesforce. Three definitions you need to remember. तीन definitions, तीन अलग-अलग definition. तीनों किसके बारे में? Salesforce के बारे में. पहली definition, Salesforce follow multi-tenant architecture. What is a multi-tenancy? Go back and see that lecture जो मैंने पढ़ाया था. Salesforce follow MVC architecture, model view control. How? ये diagram मैं अभी explain कर रहा हूँ. Salesforce is purely and purely built on ORM architecture. Salesforce is purely built on ORM architecture. What is ORM? Object relationship and mapping. Now, what does it mean? We are going to discuss this in the development lectures. तो ये तीन अलग-अलग definitions हैं Salesforce के बारे में. एक इंसान है, उसके बारे में तीन लोग बात कर रहे हैं. तीनों की लैंग्वेज को कैप्चर करना है, तीनों की definitions को याद करना है. ठीक है? Okay. So Salesforce follow the MVC architecture. M stands for model. This is your model. The database table. I hope you are writing this. Probably you have written MVC. Now write down number 1 as M. What is M? Write down the definition. Number 2, what is view? Write down the definition like this. Number 3, what is C? Write down the definition like this. Okay? So please write down like this. Please write down. I'm telling you the definition of M. I'm telling the definition of V, and I'm telling you the definition of C also. So please write it down like this. Okay. So what is M? M stands for model. Model refers to this table. Model refers to this table. Whatever the database table that is being created for the object, for the corresponding object, whatever table is created inside the database.com, that table is called as model. That table is called as model. Okay. The table inside the database.com. The table inside a database.com is called as model. What is the name of that table? Object table. And remember one thing, the name of the table, the name of this table is always the same, the name of the object. If you create the object has to be the hiring manager, hiring underscore manager, same will be the name of database table also. ठीक है? तो database पे जो table create होता है उसका नाम कुछ और अलग से नहीं होता है, उसका नाम object का नाम दोनों हमेशा same होता है. And this is M, this is model. Then view stands for your front end. Whatever the front end, whatever the graphical user interface, whatever the form you have designed, what the form you have designed, like this is the front end. If I go to this object, this is my front end. This is the form with using this form, with all these fields, with all these buttons, save, new, cancel, whatever. I could probably store something inside the object. I can add it, I can delete. Okay, using this form. This is what? This is V. This is your V. Okay, this is V. Give me a second. Guys, give me 5 minutes. I'll come back in 5 minutes. Just a second. I'm pausing the recording. Okay. So what does M stands for? M stands for model. Model is your database table. The V stands for your front end. That is view. And the C stands for the controller class, the business logic class. Okay. So every object inside the Salesforce is based on MVC architecture. M stands for your database table. V stands for your front end part. And C stands for the business logic class that is used to interface your front end with the back end. And this is the way, we call that Salesforce follow MVC architecture. Salesforce follow MVC architecture. Okay. I hope you have written all this. Now let's come back to the topic. Okay. Now, what is a field name? What is a field name and API name? This we are going to discuss. See, I told you one thing. Someone mic is on. Please mute yourself. Who is this? Nikhil, please mute yourself. And please take care of your mic. I think your video is also on. Yes. So if I go to the account object, if I observe the fields, so on the form, on the user interfaces, whatever the name you see over here, these are field labels. These are field labels. Whatever the name you see over here, these are what? These are field labels. But as a programmer, as a developer, we never bother about the field labels. I mean, these field labels are just for the representation purpose. I mean, just for the just to represent that field over the user interface. But it doesn't serve anything to us. For us, what is important is the field name and API name. Because the field name and the API name is actually that name which is of the database table column name. You say if this is a field, if this is a field, customer ID field, let me show you. On the database, the name is customer ID field. For this field, this is the column which is created. What is the column name? Column name is ID. For us, this is important. This is important. The actual database column name is important, not the field name is important. This is the label. We never bother about the label. We bother about what? We bother about the field names. And these are the field names. Field names and the API names. We actually, we actually have more interest in knowing the field labels because that serves to us. That serves some purpose to us. What is that purpose? I'm going to tell you. Now, what is the difference between never bother about field label? देखो भी मत उस तरफ. हमेशा ध्यान रखो field name क्या है. Inside the programming also, we are going to use the field names only. Field label कभी भी use नहीं करेंगे हम लोग. As a programmer, as a developer, as an administrator, we are always going to use the field names. याद रखो. Software engineer के लिए सबसे important जो है वो field label जानना नहीं है. Field label is for the general public. उनके लिए है वो. For the end users उसके लिए important है. हमारे लिए important सिर्फ ये होता है. Right? We should know the field name. Now, if it's a standard field, the database name is called as field name. That particular column name, that particular database column name is called as field name. If it is a standard field, and if it is a custom field, the same column name is called as API name. That's it. कोई difference नहीं है. database column names, these values, these values are called as field names for every standard field. These values are called as API names for every custom fields. For every custom fields, but this itna hi farak hai aur kuch nahi. If it is a standard field, we call it to be the field name. If it is a custom field, if we are referring to any custom field, if we are referring to any custom field, we should give the name called as API. बस इतना ही फर्क है और कुछ. So inside your merge fields, the first entity what you give is the object name. The second entity what we use is the field name. Field name in the case of standard, API name in the case of custom. That's it. But नाम दोनों के, बात दोनों सेम ही है actually. What is a field name? What is a API name? It's a database table column name. Database पे उस column का नाम जो है उसी को हम बोलते हैं field name या फिर API name. ठीक है. So this is the form. This is the way to create the merge fields. ठीक है. This is the way to create the merge fields. And don't forget this. ये इतना in detail में कोई नहीं बताता. I could probably jump you. मैं यहीं पर ला सकता था. और मैंने almost पौन घंटा इसी पे देखिए आपको दिया क्योंकि I want you to understand this और ये this is the last time when I am telling this. इसके बाद हम सिर्फ इसको यूज करना सीखेंगे. अब ये फॉर्मेट क्या है, ये फॉर्मेट कैसे बनता है, इसमें पहली एंटिटी और दूसरी एंटिटी क्या है, अब ये मैं दोबारा नहीं बताऊंगा बिकॉज वी हैव टेकन एट लेंथ डिस्कशन ऑन दिस. ऑलमोस्ट 45 राइट फ्रॉम लास्ट 45 मिनट्स वी आर डिस्कसिंग दिस. अगर आपको अभी नहीं समझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, गो बैक एंड वॉच द वीडियो वंस अगेन. दिस लेक्चर इज रिकॉर्डिंग, you get the recording, go back and see the lectures. ठीक है. अब हम सीधा यूज करेंगे इसको. We will now understand how to use the merge fields with the help of tool. We are not going to type this all. Don't worry, we are not going to type this all. Programming में type करेंगे, admin में type नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है. चलो. Let's solve this use case. Configure one email template to notify the hiring manager upon creating a new hiring manager record inside the object. Okay. Whenever a new hiring manager record is going to be inserted inside the object, we need to notify him with the help of one email. So what is the use case? Let's first understand the use case. Let's go to the hiring manager. If I create any new hiring manager record over here, with this name, with this contact number and the email ID and the location, if I press the save button, one new hiring manager record is going to be created like Abhishek Rurikar Street. Okay. So whenever a new hiring manager record is created, we should immediately send one email on his email ID that congratulations, you are on board. We welcome you inside our organization. And I mean a kind of acknowledgement. Your record has been created inside our database, and we have all these details of yours inside the database. Kind of that message. एक email भेजना है अपने को इस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन को, तो ये बाद में ऑटोमेशन के थ्रू होगा. अभी हम सिर्फ ईमेल टेम्पलेट बनाना सीख रहे हैं. वी आर ऑन टू द स्टेप नंबर 1. सो एज एन होमवर्क I'll first write down the email subjects. Congratulations. And see here I have not given any hard coded name like Abhishek. Congratulations Mr. Ram Kumar. Congratulations Manish Shinde, Ellen Abraham. I'm not liking like this. Rather, I have used one dynamic content over here, and that's the merge field. It's going to get the value. It's going to get the value of the hiring manager from the object. How it's going to get the value, we will see when we go and test and verify this. We have one button, test and verify the merge fields. Yesterday we have seen this, how to check the emails what we have, how to do the testing. So we press this button, test and verify merge fields. Now also we are going to press this. और उसकी मदद से ये पूरा ड्राफ्ट करूंगा. ठीक है. चलो, let me copy this and see. First of all, let me see what is the name of my object. What is the name of my object? Because it's hiring manager _ C. ठीक है. चलो, तो let's create this template. Let's go to the setup menu. Inside the setup menu, you have inside the administrator menu, just go to the communication template. ठीक है. And then go to the classic email template. This is the same navigation what we have followed yesterday. Yesterday we created this template. We stored this template inside the align email template folder. ठीक है. We created this template yesterday. We stored this in the align email template folder. Now I'm going with the same navigation. I am going with the same navigation, and I'm creating a new template. So press the new button, press the new template button. Again, you need to select the same template because आज भी मैं आपको text ही पढ़ा रहा हूँ. Probably tomorrow I'm going to start with the HTML using the letterhead. वो कल पढ़ाऊंगा मैं. But today we are on to this text only. So text and click the next button. एक मिनट. ठीक है, चलिए. So we learned this yesterday, you know, the same navigation I'm going to follow today also. So first of all, make it available for use. ठीक है. अच्छा, उसके पहले मैं एक टेम्पलेट डिजाइन कर लेता हूँ. सुनो, पहले टेम्पलेट डिजाइन. So congratulations, hiring manager name. So what I'm going to do is that मैं सारी चीजें डिलीट कर देता हूँ. Let me delete everything from here. You know, let me delete everything from here and let me show you ये सारी चीजें कैसे अपन merge fields हम कैसे create कर देते हैं with the help of that tool. You know how to create all that. Yes. Let me delete each and everything from. चलो, अब मैं इसको तैयार करता हूँ और उसके बाद में फिर हम लोग जाते हैं टेम्पलेट पे, और टेम्पलेट पे जाने के बाद फिर सारी चीजें सीखते हैं. सो वंस अगेन लेट मी शो यू. एक्चुअली दिस इज द टूल, यू नो, जिस टूल की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ वो ये है वो टूल. ठीक है, वो टूल यहाँ पर है. अब कैसे करना, ओके, कैसे यहाँ तक पहुँचना. तो गो टू द सेम नेविगेशन, गो टू क्लासिक ईमेल टेम्पलेट्स. ठीक है, click on the new template folder once again and select the text. वैसे ये टूल हर जगह पर है, मैं बाकी जगह भी दिखाऊंगा, लेकिन फायदा ये है कि टेक्स्ट करने से ये टूल आपको स्टार्टिंग में ही मिल जाता है यहाँ पे. ठीक है, दिस टूल इज प्रेजेंट ओवर हियर ओनली. दिस टूल इज प्रेजेंट ओवर हियर ओनली. ठीक है, दिस इज द टूल. Now with the help of this tool you can directly construct the merge fields and you don't need to type it. Typing में गलतियां हो सकती है. So rather make the use of copy and paste. चलो, so हम किसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं? We are working on the hiring manager object, है ना? And we need to create the hiring. जैसे यहाँ पे मुझे नाम चाहिए. Congratulations what? I want the name of the hiring manager. So that I am going to create with the help of a merge field. अगर मैं अपने से टाइप कर रहा हूँ तो I'll type like this: opening bracket, closing bracket, exclamation mark, and give the name of object. What is the name of object? अगर मैं टाइप करता तो I'll do it like this. You know, अगर मैं टाइप करता तो I'll do it like this. मैं कॉपी करता ये hiring manager. I paste it over here. Dot what? Dot field name. What is the field name? Name. Just copy it like this. ऐसा. अगर मैं टाइप करता तो मैं ये करता. ठीक है. But I don't want you to use this. अब ये efforts मत लगाओ. Why to use when we have a tool inside the Salesforce? इंजीनियर का काम जो होता है हार्ड वर्क नहीं होता है. इंजीनियर का काम होता है स्मार्ट वर्क. ठीक है, तो हमको हार्ड वर्क नहीं करना है. इफ वी डोंट रिक्वायर टू टाइप, व्हाई टू टाइप? इफ वी हैव द टूल, यूज द टूल, यू नो. सो कोई जरूरत नहीं इस तरह से टाइप करने की. आई विल शो यू द टूल हाउ टू गेट दिस merge field directly. So in the first, select the field type, just select the object, what object you want. I want the hiring manager fields, and so I selected the hiring manager. Now these are the fields of the hiring manager. See, these many are the fields of the hiring manager. अब आपको क्या चाहिए इसमें से? I want the name. Name is a standard field, so I'm going to the standard hiring manager name. And so as soon as I select the hiring manager name, see, I mean below to this there is a field where actually your merge field is created and it is selected also. Selected भी है. You just need to press Control C copy करने के लिए, या फिर right click करके copy, जैसा भी आपको पता हो. ठीक है, just copy and paste it over here. This is very easy यार, बहुत ही easy है. So dear, congratulations hiring manager name. Even here also I want the name to be inserted. And so welcome on board. Thanks for joining the HR team. We are pleased to inform you that the hiring manager record is created inside the database, and the following are the details of your with us. And just go and verify the hiring manager name. Here also I need to copy and paste it. Hiring manager ID. अब यहाँ पे मेरे को ID चाहिए. You know, I want the ID to be inserted. Just go to hiring manager. Hiring manager already selected है. अब क्या चाहिए आपको? ID चाहिए. So HR ID, just select the field HR ID and see the merge field is already been created. Just copy and paste it over here. Just copy and paste it over here. Then what I want this hiring manager contact number. तो यहाँ मेरे को contact number चाहिए. तो यहाँ से field उठाओ contact number. Contact number, ये merge field automatically create हो गया. Just copy and paste it. The next is location. Select the location. Location, just copy and okay, paste it over here. And the final is email ID. So from this, select the HR email ID. Just copy and paste it over here. That's it. Done with the everything. So this is the way, this is the way to get the entire merge fields directly without typing. And please don't type it. I don't recommend you to type it because if you type it, you are going to commit the mistakes. Don't do that. If you have the tool, so why shouldn't you use that tool? Salesforce has given you this tool to use just to create the merge fields automatically. And you just need to select the object, select the field, As in first, you need to select the object. Second, select the field. And according to that, this merge field is going to be created automatically. You just need to copy and paste it wherever you want it, right? So why don't you use that? So please don't type करने में मत जाओ, directly use करो इसको. चलो. Now let's create that email template, make it available for the use. That is essentially important. If you forget to checkbox, if you forget this checkbox, you won't going to find this template. Okay, बन तो जाएगा, दिखेगा नहीं आपको. Then give a name. I'm giving this name just a new hiring manager creation notification template. This is my naming convention. You can design your own convention. I don't mind this. So this is what this is. So I copy this, even I paste it in the description also. Now let me give the subject and the email body. So I already have created this subject. Let me just copy this, paste it over here. Now let me copy the content. Let me copy the content and paste it over here. Now here you need to make some sort of manual editing, Here you need to make some sort of manual editing. So that is the only thing what we require to do over, and उसके लिए tool नहीं है अभी तक. हाँ, अगर आप HTML में कर रहे हो ना, तो HTML में formatting करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, because we use the HTML tags. उसके हिसाब से spaces and enter line जो होती है, सब कुछ उसके हिसाब से बन जाता है. So if we अभी वो सीखने वाले आप में, if we are going to draft this with the help of HTML, so we don't need to require to make this all manual alignments, because HTML is going to be aligned with the help of the tag whatever you use inside the code. Presently, if there are some spelling mistakes, I'm simply ignoring that. You also ignore the same things, because I'm not intended to send this email to actual clients. We are just drafting one test email. So please don't mind all this spelling mistakes. Just forget it. So I created this, everything has been done. Now let me save it. Let me save it. And so we just now created one email template. Okay, I created one email template over here. Now is the time to test it. Now is the time to test it. I'm using this SFDC email ID. And I'm going to test this. Yes. So go and press this button, send test and verify merge fields. You get this checkbox, you get this dialog box. And you need to select the object, because this time you have used the merge field. So I'm creating the hiring manager. Hiring manager का कौन सा record है जो मैं send करना चाहता हूँ? I want to send the record of Manish Shende. Hiring manager record, select the object from here, select the record from here. Send the test email preview to whom? I want it to be sent to the Sfdcstart@gmail.com. And I'm pressing this OK. Now this email has been sent. How you can test it? Just go to this email ID, whatever you have supplied, and refresh it. You probably are going to get the email. Yes, I got it. See, I got it from the training, my Salesforce batch 105. This is the email which I get. Congratulations. What? Manish Shende. How come this name appears to be here? With the help of merge fields. See, I never typed this. I have not typed the Manish Shende. I just typed the hiring manager name, and it's taking that name. It's taking that name from the object itself. It's taking the name from the database, and rest of the details also. These are the details what we have entered. So let's verify this. Dear Manish Shende, once again, welcome on board. Thanks for joining this our team. Your hiring manager, these are the following details. We have created one record and these are the details with us. Please verify all these details. What are the details? Manish Shende's name, HR email ID, okay, contact number, location, and the email ID. We have used the concept of merge fields. I have not typed, and this is the way you receive the email with your name and your details. This is the thing. The person never typed this. The person never typed like this. Actually, inside their programming, they have used the concept of merge fields, and with the help of merge fields, I could see my name over here. The person is actually not writing my name. He's using the concept of merge fields. I also have written the same. So this is the way to get data dynamically at the runtime from the object. All the details, whatever you want from the object, just make a use of merge fields. Just make a use of merge fields. Now I have given few assignments for you guys. This is the assignment. Let me give you a few more assignments on this. I'm giving you these use cases. You need to solve it. एक तो मैंने जो solve किया वो. Plus I'm giving you few more assignments. Configure the email template to notify the hiring manager upon creating a new position record. Whenever a position record is created, it's actually being allotted to the hiring manager. If I go to this position, if I go to the position, if I try to create a new position, I should allot this position to a hiring manager, and this hiring manager is having one email ID also. So this is the HR email ID. This is the hiring. I should select the hiring manager from here. Every position must be allotted to a hiring manager, and on this hiring manager email ID, we should draft one email to him. That one position has been created. Okay, dear Abhishek, one position record called mainframe engineer 2 has been created and has been allotted to you with all these details, position name, HR, so this all details. We need to send him all these details. Okay, so this is what you need to do. And the first is what, upon creating a candidate, the candidate must be notified that dear candidate, your record is created successfully. Dear Abhinav Sharma, your record is created successfully, and we have all these details inside our database regarding your record. So please go and verify all this detail. And if you found anything, I mean, apart from, if you found any discrepancies, if you found anything which is actually not matching to you, you can mail us. You can mail us on this particular. You can mail us. I also have used one thing. I just forgot to tell you. I used the merge field over here also. User first name and user last name with two spaces in between. And see how does it looks like. User first name is what? Training my Salesforce. Last name is batch 10. You can even use that also. Okay. So I use this over here. यहाँ पे use किया है मैं. ठीक है. तो ये आप चाहे तो hard code कर लो या चाहे तो इस तरह से दे दो. So go and solve all these three questions. First is for this hiring manager. Second is for candidate, and third is for the position object. Okay. Solve this. By tomorrow, I'm going to start with the HTML. Now let me stop the recording.